I loved Karuppu's introduction in this movie, but why did he appear in Binu's father's dream? Binu's father did not even know who Karuppu was at this point. And why this specific incident?
But wouldn't
they have already bought a ticket to the station that they were supposed to get down? And it's only a 45 minutes wait, not a few hours. Why would Binu's father think it's a good idea to get down at this unknown station at night? Conveniently, all the other people and autos that were here a few minutes ago have all left so that these robbers can easily target Binu and her father. No one on the train or the platform hear or see this. And when Binu and her father were in the train, this random passenger points directly out the window to where the autos are. But here, the train is far behind them, so there is no way they could have seen the autos in this spot from where they were sitting.
Operation Chennai.
But why does this operation have to be done in Chennai? I'm sure there are clinics in Kerala itself that could have done this transplant. And why couldn't Binu's father have sold the gold in Kerala and then transferred the cash into their bank account before travelling to Chennai? All this trouble could have been avoided. The officer just left Binu and her father in a locked cell with these random criminals. Shouldn't at least one officer be in the cell with them? But up until this point, both these officers were implying that Binu's father could simply take the gold back with him from the station. Didn't you already ask him to sign and verify that all of his gold has been found? Wouldn't that prove that he came to the station to collect his gold? This happens continuously throughout the movie, so I'll just add a mistake here. Pretty's lip movements do not match the audio, and this does get irritating at times.
Evidence irukka?
This judge needs evidence to prove that this elderly couple attacked 4 young men.
அப்படி போயிருந்தா ஓடஞ்ச பாட்டில் பிஸ்கெட் கலெக்ட் பண்ணி கோர்ட்ல மகசார் விட்னஸா ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கணும்.
Wouldn't the crushed biscuits have been the easiest fake evidence to produce? Why didn't baby Kannan or this corrupt officer do that?
அப்படி எந்த எவிடன்ஸும் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணல மீன்ஸ் அவர் நேர்ல போவே இல்ல.
Or he could have gone to the spot and not collected evidence. Not collecting evidence does not automatically mean that the IU didn't go to the spot.
Any cross question?
No questions, my lord.
This is baby Kannan's case, right? Why is the judge accepting an answer from another lawyer? In what court are 4 witnesses allowed to testify at the same time? Even if everyone else in this court is corrupted, why is Pretty not questioning this?
இவங்க 4 பேரையும் பயங்கரமா தாக்கிருக்கீங்கன்னு ஆதாரபூர்வமா நிரூபணமாயிருக்கு.
But everyone in this court just heard that no evidence was produced in this case, and they also saw that one of the victims lied about his injury. Even if he is a judge, how can he be allowed to simply ignore all this and pass this verdict? We can go as far as saying all the lawyers, except Pretty, and all the officers in this court are corrupted. But what about the general public at the back who are also saying this? Why is no one doing what Binu did earlier?
இது ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணி இன்ஸ்டால போடு.
ஒன்ன மாதிரி ஆர்டர் வாங்குறதுக்கு சும்மாவே இருக்கலாம்.
So this has happened before, right? Then why did Pretty look so shocked when she didn't win? Shouldn't she have already known this was going to be the outcome when she was going against baby Kannan? Then what about justice for this woman? Baby Kannan controls this court, and all the corruption here happens because of him. So we can assume that this woman is praying here because of baby Kannan. Then why didn't Karuppu appear for her?
Return of property case
How did baby Kannan know that Binu's case was next even before it was announced? Baby Kannan, who has been doing this for a long time, needs to be told this. We later see that it was baby Kannan's partner who bribed the officer so that he wouldn't come to court. But we can see from his expression that he didn't know about this. Firstly, why wouldn't he plan and discuss these tactics with his partners before the court hearing? And secondly, what would have been baby Kannan's plan to postpone the hearing if his partner didn't bribe the officer? There were so many officers who were involved in this case. So why is this officer the only one who needs to be bribed? Can any of the other officers show up in court and testify instead?
Fees transfer பண்ணிட்டியாமா?
Binu honestly should have just deducted the cost of the food and transferred the remaining amount.
45 தான் recover ஆச்சுன்னு சொன்னாங்க.
இதான முதல்லயே சொல்லிருக்கணும்.
But didn't the team go to the police station the day before? They would have also gotten the case file, so why didn't baby Kannan and his team know about this?
The police guy nodi நம்பவே கூடாது சார். யார் வேணாலும் நம்பலாம்.
The irony of this guy saying this.
அன்னைக்கு நைட்டே அதை எடுத்து போய்
மகாபலிபுரத்துல உல்லாசமா இருந்திருப்பான். உங்க ஸ்டேஷனுக்கு இப்படி FIR எழுதலாம்னு சொல்லி கொடுத்ததே நானே எங்க டீம் தான் மேடம்.
But wouldn't this actually be possible though? What if the officers were actually telling the truth here?
ஸ்டேஷன்ல இருந்து குமரன் சார் கூத்தான்னு சொல்லுங்க.
Does this guy get an extra commission or something for promoting baby Kannan?
கடவுள் பார்த்து பாரு.
Unfortunately, in this movie that doesn't happen until you pray to him. Is there a reason that Binu and her father have to follow the lawyers when they go on breaks? Can't he just insist on waiting at the court for the hearing? and leave immediately after the hearing is over? Again, why is this the only officer who can testify in court? What about the other officers from the station who were also involved in investigating this case?
ரிப்போர்ட் கொடுத்தியா?
Wait, so all this officer had to do was submit a report. Why does he have to be in court to do that? Couldn't he have just sent it over via email or post?
ஐயா எமர்ஜென்சியா கிளம்புறாரு.
This movie will never explain what this emergency was. And how did this guy know that it was an emergency? There's no way he could have heard what this guy whispered in the judge's ear.
அசிங்கமா கேக்குறாரு ஐயா சேம்பர்ல கூப்பிட்டு.
But I thought the judge had to leave for an emergency. And I'm not on baby Kannan's side here. But how is he responsible for Binu's father's outburst in court? When watching this movie for the first time, Ghost was a character that first stood out to me because I felt like him living in court for 30 years was an exaggeration for the movie and was a mistake. Because in those long years, the judge would have changed, court staff would have changed, and someone would have noticed this guy living here and would have asked questions. However, the more I thought about it and the more I read online about others in similar situations, I realized that Ghost's backstory is really emotional and surprisingly realistic, and his character is written to represent everyone who has been forgotten and thrown aside by the justice system, a well-written character.
கோர்ட்டால தீர்க்க முடியாத பிரச்சனை கூட இந்த சாமி தீர்த்து வச்சிரும்.
Once again, if this was actually true in this movie, this court would not have been this corrupted. Binu's father prays for Karuppu to help him, but he does not specifically mention baby Kannan. So why does Karuppu only go after baby Kannan for the rest of the movie? Almost everyone who works in this court are corrupted, from baby Kannan's associates to the police officer to the judge. All of them had roles to play that led to this moment. So why didn't Karuppu go after all of them too? These guys behind planned their timing perfectly to jump together and attack.
நான் என்ன தப்பு பண்ணேன்?
This movie is really trying to say that even though baby Kannan has been doing this for a long time, no one else has prayed to Karuppu about him before.
எங்க கோர்ட்டுக்கு வாங்க. சாலுஜா.
Instead of accepting this challenge, Karuppu could have simply just killed baby Kannan and the corrupted people as well. Wouldn't that have worked? And why would Karuppu accept this in the first place? Binu is unwell. She does not have time for this challenge right now. And being a lawyer means understanding all the court procedures and the technicalities. That's why it takes years to qualify to be a lawyer. Karuppu clearly does not have this knowledge, so why would he take this risk? Instead of just using his powers immediately to get rid of the corruption and the corrupted people in this court. Wouldn't that be a better way to ensure that justice will not be delayed any longer?
Return of property. Mattanjeri Sukumaran.
How is Binu's case the first? Karuppu was the last to submit the petition.
ஆமா நீங்க யாரு?
பேரு சரவணன், மதுரை பெஞ்ச்.
This works.
Court is urgent for a break.
This judge only heard one case and he already needs a break.
அவங்க 3 பேரும் ஒரே டீம் தான். புதுசா யார் வந்தாலும் இதான் பண்ணுவாங்க.
All new lawyers. How are there so many lawyers in this court then?
பாத்து பட மாட்டீங்க? மேடம் மூஞ்சில ரத்தம் வந்திருக்கு.
How exactly are they supposed to be careful about blowing up a car?
கேஸ் ஃபைல குர்ரா.
Karuppu sees baby Kannan doing this in court and still thinks that this challenge is a good idea.
எவனா ஒருத்தன் இந்த கேஸ் கட்ட எடுத்தானா அவனை வச்சு கேஸ் நடத்திக்கோ.
And why is Pretty not picking up her case files?
வந்தனா கட்டின ஃபைல யாரும் எடுக்க மாட்டாங்க.
This logic is also never explained in the movie. What does the rape bandana mean? Karuppu bangs this table, and even these 2 people sitting at the table are not affected. So why is this guy flying? Karuppu only chose to freeze everyone in this room. Why not the whole court? Not just baby Kannan, anyone could have walked past this room and seen this. Why would Karuppu take that risk? This was not what this woman was doing when Karuppu banged the table.
நான் யார்கிட்டயும் சொல்ல மாட்டேன்.
தெரியும்.
If you were that concerned about maintaining your secret identity, why not just freeze everyone in this court so that no one would accidentally walk into this room and see this? And no one in this room is going to ask what just happened.
ஓவரா பண்றிய? புடிச்சுட்டறலாமா உன்ன?
Yes, please.
நீங்க சாமி பவர் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டீங்க. சாதாரண மனுஷன் என்ன பண்ணுவான்?
I mean, Karuppu came here because an ordinary man became helpless in this court, right? So how is this a fair challenge then? This court has been corrupted for years. Without Karuppu's powers, how can he expect to change things here in just a few days?
பவரை யூஸ் பண்ண கூடாது.
This works.
அவங்க தங்குற இடத்துல ஒரு வேலை.
I thought this guy couldn't work anywhere outside of the court.
பேபி சார் சொன்ன அளவுக்குலாம் வரதில்ல.
And Karuppu still thinks that this challenge is a good idea.
கோர்ட்ல ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணி இன்னியோட 4 மாசம் ஆச்சு. 4 இயரிங் போலீஸ் வரல, 1 இயரிங் அப்ரைசர் வரல, 2 இயரிங் ஸ்ட்ரைக்ல போச்சு. நடுவுல 1 மாசம் கோர்ட் லீவ்.
Is this dramatic accusation really necessary at this point? Karuppu knows that the judge is corrupted, and his challenge is to just get the gold back to Binu's father. All Karuppu had to say was, all documents have been produced. Please return the gold to my client.
நீங்க நினைச்சா என்ன வேணாலும் பண்ணலாம்ல.
Even at this critical point, Karuppu still chooses to honor the challenge that he made to this guy, instead of prioritizing Binu's life and just doing this with the judge to get the gold back. This is such an emotional scene with really strong performances from all the actors. But it's really hard to feel sorry for Karuppu at this point. Binu's father prayed to him as a last resort, and also because Binu was running out of time. Instead of instantly providing justice and saving her life, Karuppu decides to play a game with baby Kannan instead. Despite knowing that the corruption in this court was bad and the odds were against him, Binu and her father did not deserve this. Oh, now Karuppu decides to do this.
பந்தனா கட்டின கேஸை எனக்கு கொடுத்துருக்கீங்க.
I mean, you did ask for all pending cases to be settled, right?
உங்க ஒருத்தருக்கு நீதி வாங்கி கொடுக்க முடிஞ்சதுன்னா நிறைய பொண்ணுங்களுக்கு உங்களுக்கு நடந்த தப்ப வெளியே சொல்லலாம்னு தைரியம் வரும்.
Says Preeti, who just a few days ago couldn't care less when she saw this woman being harassed and humiliated by baby Kannan's team. And the first half of the movie made such a big deal about red bandana and how no lawyer would take up such a case because there will be consequences. But somehow, baby Kannan would choose to do nothing to Preeti who broke this rule and instead decide to simply fight this in court.
Silence.
You took long enough to say that.
Objection, my lord.
எதுக்கு அவர் கேள்வி எல்லாம் அவர் கேட்டு முடிக்கிட்டோம்.
Once again, how can this judge be so openly biased? And why hasn't anyone present in court done what Binu said earlier?
சோ நடந்தது தப்புன்னு புரிய உங்களுக்கு 5 years ஆயிருக்கு.
Why isn't she bringing up the fact that she did try to make a police report but was turned away?
Second floorல.
My lord, என் கிளையண்ட்டுக்கு ஆர்த்ரைட்டிஸ் இருக்கு. சோ அவரால படிக்கட்டு ஏற முடியாது, ஏறவும் கூடாது.
This question at this point should have been, then why the hell does he live in a house that has 2 floors? Baby Kannan proceeds to go completely out of control, but this judge still allows the hearing to continue instead of immediately calling for a break.
வக்கீலால பொய் சொல்ல முடியல.
As if this wasn't obvious enough, Preeti has to again repeat this for the audience. And these lawyers at the back are too calm while watching baby Kannan doing whatever he's doing in front of the judge.
அந்த வழக்கு அடுத்த மாசம் 13ஆம் தேதி இப்பவே ப்ரொசீட் பண்ணனுமா?
Yes.
I know that the judge asked baby Kannan if they should proceed and baby Kannan said yes, but wouldn't the judge have the power to just postpone the hearing to another date anyways, especially after seeing baby Kannan acting this way?
அப்ப இத பாடுனது இவரா my lord?
So why does baby Kannan have an audio of the ex-minister singing this song?
You are making a mockery of this court.
You only realize this now? Was there media presence inside this court all this time, and not one media channel reported on how obviously biased the judge was towards baby Kannan? Wait, there's only one judge in this court, right? Then when did all these hearings for the other cases happen? If they happened before baby Kannan's case, then wouldn't the judge and baby Kannan have seen all these lawyers acting the exact same way baby Kannan did? They should have already realized something was wrong. And all these fights and arguments were happening right outside the court, and somehow the people in this room were not affected by all that noise. Look at how easy this was. Binu and her father should have been here. This is a nice and fun reference to Leo, but in this particular scene, how does it make sense that the owner does not react to this girl calling for his help? He does not even turn to look at what's going on.
filter காப்பியாச்சு குடுமா
அண்ணா ஃபில்டர் காப்பிக்கா இவ்ளோ கெஞ்சிரீங்க?
Did she just forget that this guy had a gun?
குழந்தைங்க ட்ரெஸ் எல்லாம் அங்க வை, பெரியவங்க ட்ரெஸ் எல்லாம் இங்க வை.
Stealing is wrong, yes, but isn't breaking into someone's house wrong as well? Why didn't Karuppu's power stop them from even entering this house?
இருக்கிற 17 போலீஸ் ஸ்டேஷன்ல
There are 17 police stations in this area.
10 நாள்ல 4000 கேஸ் முடிஞ்சிருச்சு.
4,000 cases in 10 days. Are all the court staff working overtime?
கோர்ட்டுக்கு நடுவுல இப்படி ஒரு கோயில் டிஸ்டர்பன்ஸா இருக்குல்ல.
Why didn't Karuppu's powers affect baby Kannan?
போலீஸ் வந்தா புடிச்சிட்டு கூப்பிடுறேன்.
Again, why didn't Karuppu's powers affect all of them?
உன்னை புத்திசாலி நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன்.
I have to agree. Did baby Kannan really think that Karuppu would just let him destroy the temple? Were all these bodies just left at the temple for everyone to see the next day?
வழி தெரியும், உங்களை வழி அனுப்பிச்சு வச்சிருவோம்.
With that hammer? And very conveniently, this fight happens right at the edge of the city so that baby Kannan can figure out what Karuppu has been doing. And, of all the people working for baby Kannan, only these 3 guys are affected by Karuppu's powers. The guys he sent to destroy the temple and his partners were not affected for some reason. Who took this video?
இத்தனை நாள் வராத நீங்க இப்ப மட்டும் ஏன் வந்தீங்க?
யார் சொன்னா நான் வரலன்னு?
If this was true, then the court would not have been this corrupted, right? Unless this movie is saying that Binu's father was the first to pray to Karuppu about baby Kannan, which doesn't make sense.
தினமும் உங்க கண்ணு முன்னாடி இவ்ளோ தப்பு நடந்துட்டு தானே இருக்கு.
உங்க முன்னாடி தானே நடக்குது. நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்க?
Realistically, what is Karuppu expecting good people like Preeti to do? The only thing she can do is to fight for people the legal way, which is not possible because of the corruption. I mean, Karuppu himself tried to help Binu the legal way and lost. These 3 cars were trying to stop Preeti's car, right? Now her car has stopped, so why are Baby Kannan's guys just waiting in the car and not doing anything?
Sir, 1 minute.
And being good bad guys, they actually listen and wait for a minute.
எனக்கு பவர் இல்ல.
Then why were you so calm just a few minutes ago? You had a perfect chance to do this earlier. As amazing as this scene is because of the background score and Suriya's screen presence, it's also very confusing. So at this point, the car is already in Karuppu's territory, which means that Karuppu's power should be working, especially for these guys because we've seen that the powers take effect immediately. In this case, shouldn't these guys have realized that they are driving at full speed straight towards Preeti? Why aren't they stopping the car or at least turning the wheel to avoid Preeti? And there is a car, then there is no car. Wait, how has it been 6 months? Let's go back to the timeline in the movie. Karuppu appears in court the next day after appearing before Baby Kannan. Then this problem happens and the judge says,
4 பெட்டிஷன்ல ஒரு பெட்டிஷன் தான் நாளைக்கு வரணும்.
so we can assume the next court hearing happened the next day. The judge then orders Binu to stay in jail for 1 day for a stupid reason. Binu collapses and is hospitalized, and the next court hearing happens the next day. So Binu's court case ended in 3 days. Then Karuppu decides to start using his powers and gives this new case to Preeti, and the next court hearing happens. Even though the movie doesn't say how long it took for this case to come to court, it couldn't have been more than 1 month. The hearing for this case ends in 1 day, and then Karuppu starts his second plan.
தப்பு நடந்தாதான கேஸ் வரும். ஏன் எல்லையில இனிமே தப்பே நடக்காது.
Let's say this goes on for about 1 week until the judge decides that since there are no new cases, let's start clearing the pending cases. Preeti then sees this.
10 நாள்ல 4000 கேஸ் முடிஞ்சிருச்சு.
So that's 10 days. Baby Kannan then sends his guys to destroy the temple. Then he gets attacked, and this is now happening 1 day later. So by this timeline, he couldn't have been more than 2 months since Karuppu first appeared in front of Baby Kannan. And again, why are all these people not affected by Karuppu's powers?
நீதிமன்ற போராட்டம் 3வது நாளாக தீவிரமடைந்துள்ளது.
Where was Karuppu during the 7 days?
30 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நான் போட்ட கேஸோட டாக்குமெண்ட் மேடம்.
And by luck, this one paper that has a connection to Ghost Pass hits his face, not the thousands of other papers flying around. How did Baby Kannan not notice this temple when he came to court before the hearing? And did everyone leave the court and come straight to the temple? Why is there such a big crowd here?
கடைசியா ஒரு சான்ஸ் தரேன், திருந்திரு.
Why is Karuppu giving Baby Kannan so many chances? Baby Kannan has shown no signs of changing his ways, and at this point, he has gone as far as killing the judge to maintain his power. How can Karuppu still think that this guy deserves one more chance? So the garden deity in this territory is a police officer? What exactly are these 3 guys running towards? All that can be seen is fire and smoke.
ஒரே ஒரு வாட்டி அச்சம் கூட நிம்மதியா அங்க உட்கார்ந்து
I know that this scene has been a topic ever since this movie released. I honestly feel that Binu is dead and her soul is there to fulfill her last wish. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.